You're feeling pretty down? Well, let's talk about it. Hey, I'm Dave Swartz, and welcome to another Dose of Dave. All right, so last week, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make a Dose of Dave video. I feel really bad about that. And the reason why is because I had a rough week. I had a really, really, really rough week. And I think since COVID started, a lot of us have been having many, many of those rough weeks. Some are good, some are bad. But for me, I just had a really, really tough week. And I want to talk a little bit about it. I want to talk a little bit about what I was thinking and what I've been going through. And I think it might help to enlighten some of you that may be going through a similar experience in your life now too. And then I also want to talk about maybe some things that we can think about to refocus our attention to possibly help us get out of our sadness and depression that we may be feeling sometimes. So for me, I've felt sadness and depression for a long period of my life. I was single and alone for many years. I lived alone for many years, and I in that experience, I think I kind of realized how alone you can feel when you are truly alone. Because before that, I surrounded myself with family, with friends. I was pretty much always doing something. But when I finally ventured out on my own and started living by myself, it was very jarring for me at first. But I think over time I developed things that really truly I think at the time were probably distractions more than they were anything. Just doing things around the house, cooking, doing more artwork, just again, trying to, I think, distract myself from what I was truly feeling, which was a sense of loss of my source of love. When I lived at home and hung out with all my friends and everything, you constantly have people around you that share that energy of love with you, no matter what it might be. It might just be, hey, hope you have a great day. That in and of itself is something that, as someone who's lived by themselves for so many years, I really craved having someone to, at the beginning of my day, tell me, have a great day. And at the end of my day, ask me, how was your day? Because as a single person, you don't really get that. So for many years, I was sort of deriving a lot of my love or source of love from other people. And recently, I've been going through a lot of shadow work where, but what I mean by shadow work is a lot of my own trauma, a lot of my own angst, the stories about myself that are self-deprecating, that are coming out of me and bubbling to the surface, so that I can deal with them, so I can look at them, so I can understand them. And in doing so, I understand more about myself. And when you do that, you open up more opportunities for self-love. And that to me is the ultimate goal. So when it comes to being depressed and being sad, I think a lot of us just get into these never-ending cycles or a feeling as though it's never going to end. And to me, that is a reflection of the interesting paradox of the universe. If you think about something over and over and over and over, the universe is going to reflect that back to you. So you're going to see more reasons in your world that reinforce those thought patterns. So if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling sad, and your immediate reaction is to curl up in a ball and cry, and constantly encircle yourself with thoughts of self-deprecation, self-doubt, and fear, then that is what you're putting out into the universe, and that is what is going to be reflected back to you. It may sound harsh, it may sound hard, but it's the truth. It's just the way that the world works. And so if that's what you're putting out there constantly, to me, it's no surprise that that's how you're going to feel when you get into a depressive state. It's a self-feeding thing. It's a cycle that's going to continue until you figure out a way to break that cycle. And I say figure out a way because there is no one-all cure for these types of things. Everybody is different. Everybody is unique. There's way too much nuance within not only this world, but the universe itself, to be able to have a cure-all for everything. Now, there are things that are, I would say, somewhat universal that we might be able to implore or explore ourselves. But it may not be something that works perfectly for you. There might be other things that you need to try or other things you need to incorporate that better align with who you are and the energies of your being. So when you're in a depressive state, when you're in a really sad state, like I was last week, and I'll tell you what, that whole week was that for me. It's very difficult for me to get out of that state. But I want to talk about a couple of the things that helped me. So the first thing that really helps me when I get into a depressive state is to not hide away from it. A lot of people, I think, when they are starting to feel sad or overwhelmed, they compartmentalize, or they take those emotions and they bury them deep inside. They try to ignore them and dive into something else, another activity or another thought that's going to distract you from it. Some people, they dive into constructive things like, reading or watching TV, which could, help to garner some insight. Thought-provoking TV, I should say. But some people, unfortunately, they distract themselves with self-deprecating things that only feed that cycle, like drinking or drugs. Those types of things are only being used to punish yourself because you feel like you deserve to be punished. And I got news for you. You don't. You got to be more gentle with yourself. We all have to be more gentle with ourselves. Even if you fucked up. We've all fucked up. It happens. We all make mistakes. But you can't dwell on it. And that's sort of the second thing that I'm getting into is we gotta transition from thinking all of these negative thoughts all the time into how do we reallocate our creative intention into something that's going to be productive for us and not self-deprecating. Because again, whatever we reflect out, we're going to get back. So the first thing that I try to do in that state, I know I just went from first to second back to first, that's just the way my brain thinks sometimes. Anyway, the one thing that I really try to do is I really try to refocus my attention onto something that is going to give me some kind of positive feedback, some kind of positive energy. So we don't want to compartmentalize our emotions. We want to allow them to be what they are. So I want to first allow my emotions to be what they are. Don't compartmentalize them. Don't try to bury them. Because we need to allow them some space to be. If you ignore them, you're ignoring a part of yourself. Remember that. You are everything. So you can't just say that, oh, that's not me, I'm going to bury that away. No. That's you. That is a part of you. Bring that out to the surface, confront it, integrate it, understand it, and move on. And that's the part that I think a lot of people don't quite get is the move on part. We tend to focus in that place of, oh, this is an ugly side of myself, or this is something I don't really want to confront. These are heavy emotions. But the best thing we can do is to confront them, allow them some space to be, but then you got to let them go. You literally have to let them go. You can't hold on to them. You can't dwell on them. You can't continue to tell yourself that same story over and over and over, because again, that reinforces the cycle. So I want to first start by not burying my emotions, I want to make space for my emotions second, and then I want to confront them and deal with them, and then lastly, let them go. Okay? I know that can be really difficult, especially if it's a really heavy story you've been telling yourself time and time again, or if it's something you truly believe about your world or your reality that you don't see a way out of. And one of the other things that I try too is focusing on energies of gratefulness. If you're feeling super depressed or sad, what I will try is to, maybe eat my favorite food, prepare myself a really great meal that I know I'm going to love. And don't just, distract yourself with it though. Because I think a lot of people, oh, I'm depressed. I'm just going to eat a bunch of ice cream and just like, oh, I'm terrible. No. Don't just like distract yourself with the food. Use the food as a tool to re-energize your body and refocus that energy into something that's positive. So when you're eating the food, actually focus on the first time you had it. Think about the very first time that you had it and what that feeling was. It doesn't have to be food. It could be a TV show, or it could be a book. So think about the first time that you picked up your favorite book and what that felt like. Remember that feeling and hold that feeling inside of you and try to transmute that sadness that you're feeling into that feeling. And when you practice that enough, that really does help to take your mind out of that never-ending cycle of self-deprecation and transmute it into a place that's actually positive for yourself, that actually reinforces the things that you want in your life, and not continuously telling yourself a story that only is going to feed that cycle of depression, sadness, fear, and anxiety that you've had time and time and time and time again. Because you will continue to repeat it, even though it might be something that, comes up once, you're sad about it for a couple weeks and you let it go, or maybe you don't let it go and maybe you're holding on to it still somewhere deep down inside of you, right? It's going to keep coming back again and again and again until you truly deal with it and truly let it be, get it out of you, let it be, hold space for it, transmute it, and let it go. Okay? I hope that helped. For those of you who are feeling sad and depressed from time to time, I know during this whole COVID lockdown, it's really bringing up a lot of these emotions in people. I know it is for me. And that's the main reason why I wanted to talk about this today, even though it's a heavy subject, and it might be tough for some. It might not be a very searched topic, but hey, these videos are designed to reach the people that need them, because I know that's what the universe is going to do. So, as always, my name is Dave Swartz. You can find me on social media on Dave Swartz Art is my handle. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and I'm also here on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel here on YouTube, please do for more dose of Dave. And before we get into our dance off at the end of the episode, I just want to make a special announcement that I am planning on expanding the Dose of Dave video series. So I have a Patreon as well. Many people don't know that. I don't really talk about it, probably should, where I am creating an original comic book series, horror comic book series. It's like a Frankenstein meets Civil War type thing. It's very cool. But I want to expand my Patreon content with more of this Dose of Dave stuff. So I'm going to be doing more in-depth videos that explain more of the topics that I've discussed in more detail, as well as maybe have some opportunities to answer some questions that people might have. So there's lots of things that are bubbling around in my head right now that I want to start implementing here soon. So stay tuned for that. Follow me on social media, subscribe to my YouTube, and let's get ready to do a little bit of dancing, because as always, we end Dose of Dave with just a little bit of dancing, just to kind of shake off some of these feelings or emotions that are not really serving us anymore, right? So, as always, have a good week, and let's do a little bit of dance to celebrate ourselves, right? All right, take care, guys.